I am stoked. Now, that is a big bull. All right, first trail cam check of the year. I set these out about a month ago. Now Ram and I are gonna go check them, see if we have any deer or elk on them. So a little bit about this area here that we're checking out. We've hunted a couple times in the past. I don't hunt it very much unless it's during the rut, but we're switching things up this year and gonna try to hunt it during September for some whitetail bucks out of tree stands. Be something completely new to me. It's a logging area, so there's always new cuts and new clearings and new feed for these deer and elk. Sometimes it's hard to pattern them, but they usually maintain a steady bedding area wherever they are bedding. So focusing on those more than anything. This area is also known for severe weather, so it's had multiple tornadoes through it in the last 5 to 10 years. I'll show you some of the devastation that it can cause, but also some of the positives that it can cause in areas like these. It's almost a natural thinning and creates corridors and cover and bedding area for these deer when it's over that they feel really comfortable in, just because of how thick it is and how rugged it is. So we'll see how it goes. We've had a ton of rain up here. The horn growth should be good. Plentiful amounts of deer. So it's lining up to be a really good season as long as we can find where they're going to and from. But right now, it's turning out to be really nice. As you can see, all those trees are ripped off halfway up. That's from one of the tornadoes, one of the multiple tornadoes through here in the last few years. So, like I said, it actually creates a type of different habitat for these deer. Clears it up a little bit, creates new feed, foliage, new bedding areas, and they actually really like this stuff. So a lot of times when worst comes to worst for me, especially during rifle season, I'll hunt it. And mainly, one, no one else wants to go in there and walk it, and two, the deer are always going in there because it's a bigger and rougher sanctuary for them, and they tend to like it. Alright, so we finally made it into our first spot here. It's just pretty much, we're on an old logging trail, and they walk the old logging trail at night and in the morning to water. And my plan was, I set up the trail camera between a couple possible bedding areas that looked like to where they were going back and forth. So we'll see here what we have. It's a beautiful day out. If anything, it's a good day just to go for a walk. Well, we just pulled up to the first camera. I forgot the little attachment to my bipod, but we'll just pull it off and hopefully have a few pictures here. Okay, so this spot did have a bunch of deer in it. The only problem was they were all does. So what I'm gonna do though is I got my trail camera and I've been noticing there's been a bunch of deer on a trail just behind me here. So I'm gonna go down there and see if I can't see that trail well enough to set up a camera. Also, I had 2 other people on this camera. I don't know if they're Forest Service just doing some mapping out or cutting, but I don't like that. That means that there's more traffic here than I want. So we're just gonna hopefully move the trail camera down that way about 200-300 yards, and maybe then we'll get some bucks on it. We might just be missing them by a couple hundred yards, and other than that, hopefully we can find them. Well, I think I'm gonna pull this cam. It just doesn't seem like there's enough deer sign back in here to keep me occupied, and I had deer, it's just they're all does. They're right where I wanted them to be for a tree stand, but it's just there wasn't any bucks on them, and it's already halfway through July. Season starts in a month and a half, and if there's no bucks on them right now, most likely there won't be anything on them in a month and a half. These bucks are somewhere else. They're bedding or hiding somewhere else right now, and I just gotta find that. But we're gonna pack this camera out, hopefully find a new place to put it. I have a couple more ideas. If not, then we'll pull it and focus our attention elsewhere. But I'll tell you right now, if I was a deer, I'd probably be hiding down here. Okay, so right now we were walking out a different way and cut this game trail, so I kind of followed it, and it's actually a very well used one. It's an old cow trail, it looks like, but the deer are still using it. There's a bunch more sign on it, more than I've had anywhere else. So instead of driving out and finding a completely new spot, we're gonna set up here and just try this one. I did see a couple deer run off as I was stopping in and looking at this area, but I'll kind of show you what we got going here. So you have a funnel up here coming down through here. We have another funnel right here coming down through here, and another one coming down through here, going into a bunch of thick stuff over in here. And that's kind of where I like to start setting up. And looking for deer is where there's intersections, and it looks like there's quite a few over here. So we're gonna set up a camera and hopefully have better luck on this area than we did the last. But that's a little tip for you. If you aren't having your luck in the area you're hunting, walk out a different way. Start walking in a different place and cover more ground, and you'll most likely eventually cut a type of trail. I'm gonna get this set up here. Now, don't make a beginner mistake like I used to and not double check your trail cameras facing the right direction at the right height and doing the right thing. So what I do is I walk away a little bit, and then I come back, walk right past, right on the trail that the deer are gonna come down, And I walk right past my camera just to make sure that it's catching the area that I want it to catch. So that's a little tip for beginners, and something that I learned quite often and made quite a few mistakes with. But we're gonna walk a couple different distances here so we can tell where our pretty much stop limit for this camera is, and just kind of see how it looks. There are a lot of does around here. I think that's number 6 in just this little area, but that's been our problem up here where we're hunting. The doe to buck ratio is absolutely insane. Way more does to bucks. So when you do finally find a good buck to pattern, you better stick on him. He's few and far between. But that being said, the bucks up here are usually pretty decent bucks, especially for whitetail in Wyoming and public land, which is most of what we do. Ah, Skeeter got me. They're thick too this year, Jesus H. Alright, I'm gonna get some water in me and the dog, and we're going to the next camp. Well, just pulled up to the entrance to where our second camera's at, and hopefully this one has a little bit better results than the last one. It's getting warmer out, so but this is definitely, this camera I have high hopes for. We when I was setting it, there was 3 elk beds pretty much right under it, and ton of elk sign and deer sign all around it, hoping that we're able to get somewhat of a little pattern to them if they're on there, and then set up a third camera on another trail near here to kind of get it down where they're coming and where they're going. But hopefully we get something. See, this is one of the areas that they've been cutting timber quite steadily throughout the years, which is, in my opinion, very good. It keeps these trees thinned out, and we have much less of a bark beetle problem up here. We have very few fires, and as you can see, it just makes this undergrowth just pop, and it's so good for these deer. It's just more areas should be thinned out, not over thinned, never clear cuts, but just thinned out enough to keep these habitats thriving. Look at this stuff, it's so thick. This is probably just, I think this was cut just a couple years ago, and look at this stuff, it's just already grown. I don't know, one of the worst things that happened to a camera can happen. Somehow came loose. But we'll see if we have anything on here from the last few days before it came loose. I am stoked. Now, that is a big bull. I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is an absolute stud bull for this area, and he's not even full grown. He's gonna be a 5x5 at least, and his buddies might even be bigger. Oh my gosh, yes, so stoked now. Oh, I knew it too. I knew this was a good area. There's multiple drainages that these deer and elk come up from, and they cross right on top of this ridge. And as long as they just stay here, I mean, I think we'll have luck in this spot. was so stoked. Yeah, that's an awesome bull. And he's standing right. Oh, that's even better. Look at this bull. Look at him. Oh my gosh. I know that's a pretty blurry picture, but he's gonna be an absolute tank this year. Oh. Now I know what knocked over my camera. An elk did. I just had a picture of a horn right on my camera. Well, when was that? Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, 2 weeks ago, right at the 4th of July. I'm stoked. Well, one camera's a bust, but if you find the spot, you don't need a ton of cameras set out every year. You just need to find a couple little spots where they're traveling through and stick with them, and you'll find your animals. So I followed out a trail that those elk walked out on, and it led me to a very steadily used grazing area and little bedding area, it looks like. So what I'm gonna do here, and there's a nice little funnel right down in here. What I'm gonna do, oh yeah, they've been traveling that too, is set up my game camera, my third one, and try to pattern these elk when they're coming in here, when they're leaving, and how they're coming in here. So I think I want to set my camera up here on that big tree, and that way I get this whole meadow, or small little meadow I guess you would call it, and hopefully we figure these elk out. Now, one other thing I look for when I'm setting up cameras, especially when I'm going to tree stand hunt or blind hunt, is places to put them. Now we got a couple really big trees like that one and that one right there, but a lot of those aren't good enough cover. But this one right up in here is a pretty good one. We can work with that. So I'm gonna set up my camera and get out of here so I don't bust anything out of here, and hopefully we're able to get something on camera. Well, we just checked all our cameras, set another one. Pretty happy with this check. We got at least 2 good bulls on camera. Sadly, that camera was knocked over by one of those 2 bulls, and but we reset it, and we still have another month and a half until season for them. So hopefully in that month and a half we're able to pattern them and figure out where they're coming and going from, and catching them when they're coming and going. But thanks for watching. There'll be more of these. If you guys liked it, thumbs up, share it, comment, tell me what I can do better, what I can't, what I need to do. I'm here for you guys and to help you learn and teach you what I know from what I've been doing and how long I've been doing it. So glad you guys stopped by. Me and Ram, we're going to cool off. It's hot.